Hello and welcome to GameGrin. I'm Eliza. Horror is one of the more popular game genres, and for good reason. Everyone loves to be scared sometimes, don't they? The opportunities for game devs to create interesting stories as well as amazing ways to mess with people have always been endless in the horror realm. So I have scoured the wide history of gaming, and I submit to you this top 10 list of the games that do this in astonishing ways. These games not just bring an unsettling amount of terror to the table, or did upon release, but also present an unforgettable story. Here are the top 10 horror titles at this point in gaming.
Number 10.
The Seventh Guest. This is an ancient computer game from the days of old, 1993 to be precise. Played on PC, and as I learned today, Philips CDI, it was a combination of animation and live action and is an amazing throwback. This was a game I played over and over and over with my mom, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. It's surprisingly violent for the time, and while it may seem cheesy, it's right there with classics like Night Trap, but instead of being a strange panty raid, it's interactive Clue. Games such as this and another great, The 11th Hour, can still be found on Steam, so go give them a try.
Number 9.
SCP, Containment Breach. Now, this one goes down the internet rabbit hole a little bit, but trust me. SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect, and originally started off as a creepypasta, but grew to be something all its own. Now, there are several SCPs, creatures or items that are cursed in some way or another that have all been collected in one location. And that is the premise of this game. The SCPs are out, and you have to survive. The game is surprisingly free and can be downloaded at scpcbgame.com or just Google SCP Containment Breach. And while the graphics aren't the best necessarily, the game can pack a surprising punch. This is just proof of what the internet can create in this day and age.
Number 8.
The Evil Within. In the modern era of horror games and AAA titles, sometimes it feels like ideas are constantly recycled or clung to and beaten to death. The Evil Within took an idea that has shown up in other games and media, an insane asylum where the inmates have gotten out, and twisted it. Not only do you spend the game unclear as to what's real and what isn't, but even at the end of the game, you won't be sure if you escaped or not. So if you like a world where you don't quite know if one foot's in reality and the other foot's somewhere else, then this is definitely the game series for you.
Number 7.
Fear. First Encounter Assault Recon. This game left a mark on those of us who played it, as we will never forget the disturbing little girl with her long black hair and red dress. Alma was a man-made monster who could give Resident Evil 7's Eveline an absolute run for her money, and she was never more nightmarish than when she was in her child form, appearing just behind you. And the story for the game series, where your character is never gifted a name, is incredibly interesting as you discover just what happened to Alma. Story is important.
Number 6.
Outlast. While definitely not the first of its kind in the survival horror genre, Outlast definitely left its mark when the game revealed that you would have to survive it unarmed. No gun, only a camera. You must make your way through a psychiatric hospital where something has gone very wrong. Just as the title tells you, you simply have to outlast. Worst of all, possibly, is that it's all first person. At least you have night vision, so I hope you like the color green.
Number 5.
Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. This classic from the GameCube era is so creative that I've never seen a game quite like it since, though I have seen games pull similar tricks. For example, in Metal Gear Solid, Psycho Mantis appears to read your memory card. Well, Eternal Darkness takes it one step further. If your insanity level in the game goes too high, it appears to start to affect your GameCube, as your game save data seems to erase, and your system may even appear to crash. Or your character might just start screaming and her head might fall off in her hands. Man, this game was fun.
Number 4.
Five Nights at Freddy's. No one saw this one coming or going to where it has at this point. An entire series and even a movie in the works. Holy shit, there's just nothing else to say. Though, one does have to give credit where credit is due, and Scott Cawthon took an idea that sounded absurd and made it work. You're a security guard, paid to watch animatronics that may or may not be possessed. He placed the perfect amount of mystery and intrigue behind the games, both literally with mini-games hidden around and figuratively, that people are still trying to piece everything together. Honestly, the man's a genius.
Number 3.
Clock Tower series. An old game series that fell by the wayside quite some time ago, this series focused on having no weapons, very similar to the series such as Fatal Frame or, as previously mentioned, Outlast. Also similar to Eternal Darkness, you had a fear meter that you had to pay attention to. Get too scared, and you won't be able to move. Or worse, your character may even do something stupid. You may occasionally get holy water as a brief weapon, but that's it. Not even a camera to protect you in this one, and that obstacle makes it even more frightening when you have to escape a madman with giant scissors.
Number 2.
Resident Evil. The late 90s were when survival horror really came into being. There were 2 game series that made their mark, one following more of a combat system than the other. Resident Evil scared so many gamers as the first to really give us a face-to-face confrontation with a zombie. While there was enough ammo to survive the game, it was hard to find, and the saving system made it even more challenging. This game set a precedent that still exists today. It would be great to return to it.
Number 1.
Silent Hill. Where Resident Evil set the precedent, Silent Hill raised the bar. Now you're trapped in a town that transitions between standard foggy Silent Hill and Silent Hell, Trent Reznor's dream recording studio. This place is full of blood, guts, rusted metal, and monsters. And the only warning you have before the transition is one of the most haunting sounds in the world. An air raid siren. Many of us have never heard this sound in context, which might actually make it even more eerie. And possibly what really drives this game into the level that makes it number 1 is that Silent Hill has been argued to be the representation of purgatory. This place is so mysterious and unsettling that it just stays with you. There have been a ton of great horror games, so many I really started staring at my pile to decide just what I thought should go on the list and where. There are honorable mentions, of course, such as Alien Isolation, Dead Space, and Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I would love to see any game dethrone Silent Hill someday though, as I think horror game fans are always hoping for something to really knock us on our ass. Something with substance and scare, not just jump scares and gore. Failed projects such as Silent Hills and Allison Road perhaps could have been contenders. Hopefully something soon will really give us a nice challenge with great puzzles, as well as a wonderful story and an intense atmosphere. And that's our list as it stands right now. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and let us know what your favorite horror game is in the comments below. Remember, we stream most evenings on Twitch, and we're all over the social media, so just search for GameGrin and come say hello, or go to GameGrin.com. I've been your host, Eliza. We will see you again soon, but until then...
Game on.